Must chatter at the start, or rather the end of day one of this test match, at the end of day one of what could be a fascinating spectacle in front of us. Because not only are we talking about this series against Bangladesh, there's 5 test matches at home, there's 5 test matches against Australia, and all that culminates in a World Test Championship. It was all to start here in Chennai, where, believe it or not, a test match was played 90 years ago. And I must tell my young friend, who has at times been much more than cheeky with me on air today, that when that first test match was played, Dinesh Karthik, I was not even a thought in my parents' mind. In fact, my mother wasn't even born. So you can be very happy. It was very long ago.
Hello. Good evening, Harsha. It feels good.
By the way, it was something very interesting today. I've come to Chennai many times for a test match cricket. It was rarely as pleasant as it has been today. So, DK, you put out fantastic conditions for test match cricket this morning.
Walking into the ground today, I was expected to do the pitch report. And they always tell us to wear a blazer, understandably so. And Chennai is the last place you want to wear a blazer. So I was dreading it since last night. I'm thinking, what should I do? Should I put my deodorant? What should I do if I get sweat patches? All sorts of fears are happening. But when I walked into the ground today, a pleasant, Harsha, note the point, a pleasant 27 degrees sea breeze was just slightly blowing across. Now that I thought would last for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but almost lasted the whole day, which says that along with the people who are generally very pleasant in this part of the world, the weather also decided to be very kind to everybody here today.
And it was a day that was dominated by two people who have a very strong bond to Chennai. I thought Ravichandran Ashwin at the end of the day spoke quite emotionally about getting another 100 at a ground that means so much to him. And of course, Ravindra Jadeja has, well, for a while was given a little nickname, which the original Talapati took back. But they have taken India out of a position where the game was almost gone. And the reason I built it up at the start was, built up the big season at the start was that it almost seemed as if it wouldn't start that way. 34 for 3, 144 for 6. There was all this talk about World Test Championship final, and there was a fear of collapsing against Bangladesh. But, and DK, we talked about it in commentary briefly. One of the reasons it's so difficult to beat India in India is the balance of the side changes enormously. And even from 144 for 6, you had two batters who could take India to a position of enormous strength at the end of the day.
Rightly put, Harsha. It was outstanding the way they batted, and also a lot of things. And we always get the time to speak to our Cricbuzz viewers about it. The experience came through, and why I say that, the way they started. There's the kind of shots that Ashwin played, the back foot punch first up. Jadeja, on the other hand, going over mid-on as his first boundary. Small things, understanding how Test cricket works. Yes, the opponent is throwing a few punches. It's time to throw a quick couple of punches and then wait, because they will at a point disintegrate and allow things to happen. And when that happened, they came in with their singles, the odd boundaries. And when they got to their milestones, felt a lot more comfortable, went on to play some superb quick shots, and that was great to watch. And in Chennai, they keep saying, there's a very famous movie called Indiran Chandran. It is a Kamal Hassan acted movie, and there it is Ravi Indiran, Ravi Chandran. Ravi Indiran is spoken about Jadeja, obviously, and Ravi Chandran, as we all know, and pretty much suits the way they played today. And what a set of all-rounders we have, Harsha. You speak about depth. Yes, didn't have Akshar Patel playing today, and understandably so, because of the pitch and conditions. But these two spinners, sometimes I feel people value only when they're not around anymore. And I think these two people will be valued a lot more whenever they are done. And hopefully it's not soon enough, because the value they add to the test team and the combination, we always speak about all-rounders in 11, any format. These two have been phenomenal for India in this format.
I mean, let's not say 2 years. Let's go 7, 8 years from now. And we will look back and say, wow, we were privileged to have been in the midst of two all-rounders like this. 800 plus test wickets, getting into 6,500 test runs, coming in at 7 and 8 is an incredible luxury. And I agree with you. Ashwin through the offside, I said it when I first saw him, it reminded me a lot of Lakshman, not in terms of batting quality per se, but just the beauty with which the ball leaves the bat. In other words, you call it timing, but the ball leaves the bat so beautifully. And I thought one of the shots of the day was a back foot punch, a little squarer, on the offside. I don't know if you thought that was your shot of the day, but I mean that just told you, look, this man is in feeling very comfortable about batting. In fact, I had messaged him after TNPL about batting at number 3, and I said you should now stop accepting Player of the Match awards like Lata Mangeshkar used to stop accepting Best Playback Singer awards. He said, no, I was trying something in the TNPL, and irrespective of the runs I scored or the wickets I took, I was happy that what I was trying was coming good. And he mentioned playing TNPL at the end of the day in the post-match chat with Ravi.
I'm not at all surprised. And you used the right word for him. I sometimes ponder whether he likes that word or whether he doesn't like it, but I think it suits him to a T. He is genuinely a cricket scientist, Harsha, and you said it correctly because he thinks about the game so much, so engrossed and involved in the process. And also, there is not many things in the world that gives him as much happiness as doing something with a bat or a ball. Something related to that is what gives him a peace of mind. And just the way he's gone about it, right from the auction in the TNPL process to going out there and being the man of the match in the final, semi-final, and taking the team across the line. Only heard good things about how he practiced with the boys, etc., etc. But the man is an absolute genius, coming from the same state as him. I feel proud to say he is Tamil Nadu's greatest cricketer, and arguably one of India's greatest cricketers as well. But the way he comes out in pressure situations, he has his own way of doing it. Be it a small, a little knock like he played against Pakistan in Melbourne, or this long one where he had to withhold pressure in a different way, but still transfer pressure back, understanding the nuances of it and doing it consistently over a period of time. Quite exhilarating to watch him bat.
And I'll tell you what I enjoyed post the innings. He was tired, make no mistake, he was tired. But in the post match conversation with Ravi, he talked about Jadeja's role. And he's frequently done that through his career as a bowling combination. But he said that he was getting tired and Jadeja was guiding him through that phase. But he also said, doesn't matter if we don't run threes. Now, that is something very interesting because Jadeja can run the threes. Ashwin's skills are elsewhere. But the two understood what was right for each other. And that's what makes them such a good combination, which is a good time to come into Jadeja. We were all watching Ashwin play. And quietly, because Ashwin had got off to the start quicker, he didn't even realize Jadeja was 50 not out. Didn't even realize he's just gone on, tung, 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 and he's batting 86 not out. His average in the last 4 or 5 years is 43 or 44. It's incredible. In most other eras, Jadeja would have been a very bona fide number 6.
I feel their whole relationship, in many ways, if I had to use an expression to relate it to normal life, is a lot like a marriage. And why I say that is at the start, things weren't as smooth as people thought it out to be it on the field, whatever, because they're very different people. They're from two ends of the spectrum. One, a naturally gifted athlete, another one not the most gifted but made best use of his resources. So very different people in every walk of life, and I think they took time to warm up to each other. And the last 4 5 years, as you've mentioned, is when I think they've accepted each other's flaws, understood their strengths, and realized that when they work together, they complement each other much better than most partnerships in the world of cricket. And that has been a great boon for India in the last few years. Just with the ball on flatter pitches, probably Ashwin will be in the game a lot more. But on pitches which help, it could be for sure Jadeja. Ashwin troubles the left-hander a lot more. Our Jadeja troubles the right-hander. Be it with the bat, Ashwin knows what his strengths are, which is playing on these kind of pitches, using the pace of the ball, getting into positions to do it. Jadeja, on the other hand, plays on almost all types of pitches very well, but most importantly, just the running between the wickets, who needs to run when, etc., etc. But it's been a partnership that's taken time to blossom, and now we're seeing the fruits of what can be a really good friendship for lifetime. Because I think through the years from here on, for decades to come, these two people will work together at different points of time and analyze and also observe others, and most importantly, let the world, or rather enlighten the world, about how it was probably not as smooth as others thought it out to be, but slowly but steadily understood each other very well.
Interesting you say that. And also interesting that we've gone straight to talking about number 7 and number 8. I'm assuming that you knew what came before, but let me highlight what came before. Bangladesh won a very good toss because Rohit Sharma wanted to bowl first as well. and the conditions were, I've rarely seen conditions on the first morning in India after all these years so conducive to bowling. And I thought Bangladesh, especially Hassan Mahmud, bowled beautifully. Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli are reeling 34 for 3. He finished the day 4 for 58. On more than one occasion, he thought he had got his fifth. And the jury is open on whether he got enough support from Taskin and Nahid Rana. Because I thought Taskin in his first 3 overs bowled a beautiful length, maybe just a little shorter after that. Nahid Rana was quick, but he's gone at 4.7 and over. But in that first hour, DK, could the Bangladesh captain have expected anything more from his seamers? Because they had India, what, 34 for 3?
Definitely from Tuskin, Harsha. A, he's got the experience, but B, he's been someone who in Test cricket has struck early with the new ball. Now, what Tuskin did was at the start slightly fuller, but some strange reason just pulled his length back. By the time he came on to bowl his second spell, he was a lot better. But that's when he induced the edge of Pant as well. But that's at a much later stage. So if I have to answer your question, yes, he didn't provide the support that he could have to Hassan Mahmood. On the other hand, Nahid Rana, I don't think is the guy we're looking for in these conditions who will come and keep hitting lengths consistently. His strength is to hustle the batsman, make them feel quick, use the short ball to good advantage, and there will be a wicket-taking ball and over which will shoot off length. And if the batsman is able to play that out, he is going to get runs because consistency is not Nahid Rana's strength. It is instilling fear and causing trouble because of his pace. Now, Nahid Rana did his role, I thought, very well. He did trouble the batters and he got a set Yashasvi out. But it was Taskin Ahmed's turn to at least pick up a couple of wickets in the first 10 overs that he bowled. Yes, he did provide an opportunity with Rishabh Pant, but in front of that and behind that, there was not much that you could say, considering the experience he's had. But a word of praise for Hassan. I thought he bowled outstandingly well till the last spell. His pace didn't drop, which shows his fitness. And also, almost every ball that he bowled, you felt that it'll just kiss the pitch and do enough to trouble the batter. And that's the sign of a bowler in great.
We always say if there's something you cannot do, there's always something that you can do. If you can't bowl 145, 148 like Naid Rana, if you can bowl 135, but move it both ways the way that that Hassan was doing, then you don't need anything more. And I thought he bowled lovely lengths in, out, he bowled beautifully. And I thought the fact that the conditions were so much in favor of the bowlers made me admire one young man even more. I was very keen to see how Yashasvi plays on this track because somehow he's played on tracks that have been relatively easy to bat on. He scored a lot of runs, but I was mighty impressed, DK, with his temperament today. I don't think his talent is ever in doubt, but his temperament, leaving the ball, as soon as there was a scoring opportunity, the odd ball short, the odd ball full, he was playing his shots. And he might have made 56, and that might pale in comparison to the 100 and the 80 that came later. But I was very impressed with that 56 today.
And you should be, Harsha, because what he showed today was grit. Now, when people play a lot of T20 cricket, sometimes you have to accept the pitch is a lot easier to bat on. The situation controls what you do. And more often than not, the situation tells you play shots. Today, everything he did was against the grain of what he's been doing in T20 cricket, or for that matter, white ball cricket. And that's what I like, application. It's a very key word. And we discussed this in our first stint as well. Even in Dilip Trophy, when the pitch was having a little bit of demons for the batters, where the fast bowler were calling the shots, the immediate instinct is to just go for that lofted drive. In the name of putting pressure back, people were taking the softer option, I thought, not willing to fight it out. But that's what we saw from Yashasvi Jaiswal. And that should be commended because for a young man, at times to play a good-looking cover drive would have been an easy option. But he fought it out, waited on it, looked to see where he could get his runs. His first shot, the flick that he got for a boundary, a really good-looking shot, but sums up how he was able to wait on the ball, then brought his cut to good effect. Once he got set and he felt a lot more comfortably, he brought out his trademark cover drive using that lovely shoulders that he has and the extension of his arm. And having said all of this, I feel in his innings, there is an area that he will look at and say, this is an area I need to work on, which is the short ball around the fifth, sixth stump with a bit of pace. He seems to be jumping to play, and he's going to be playing plenty of those in the next couple of months when he goes down under. And he is a man who will pick up things very, very quick, and he will realize that He either has to bring the pull to good effect, which he didn't bring today because of the conditions, but it's a shot that he needs to make sure he's on top of, because that's the natural length for a lot of the bowlers that he's going to be facing in the months of December and Jan.
Yeah, but in all fairness to Yashasvi, he's still a kid on the journey. He's gone to 1,000 runs very, very quickly. Last 6 Test matches, he's got a 50 in every innings. His life's a honeymoon at the moment. But success in Test cricket is about being exposed to different situations, and that is what tests you. I thought his response to today's tests won him a lot of marks. I'm very keen to see what his response to a more incisive bowling attack, and when I say incisive over a period of the entire day, will how he will respond when he does that in Australia. But 3 wickets fell quickly. With Rohit, you can understand the ball was doing a little bit. Virat somehow has tended to go with hard hands early in his innings. But I want to put you in the hot spot a little bit about a player that I am very bullish about, that I have been bullish about for a long time, and who I hope has a very good career in front of him. And that is Shubman Gill, and I'm putting DK in the hot spot with Shubman Gill. Is he finding a home for himself at number 3? Is he the right person to be batting in there? And I'll just to set the context a little bit. He did very well in that position against England. He got a couple of hundreds, a 90, 250s. So he did well there. But are you completely happy with what you see with Shubman Gill? I know he gets talked about a lot more for a man his age, but are you completely happy with Shubman Gill?
Shubman Gill is an extraordinary talent. In the last couple of games against England a few months ago, he's got a couple of hundreds. Now, those are the positives. But when I looked at him play, from a technical standpoint, I think he will go back and look at his videos and realize maybe he's going a little more across than he should. Which in turn, what it will do is when the ball is on the leg stump, you'll throw your hands at it. And if the ball is seaming or doing bit, you will lose control. Now, this is a technical part of it. Is he the right man for the job? He's got all the skill set. And we have seen that down under, that he's someone who has scored runs there. Now, with Shubman Gill, the one thing is, if the wicket is anything good to bat on, he's someone who'll make the most of it, got the most gorgeous strokes. But when the ball is doing a bit and it's challenging the batter with his technique, it will always rather be a challenge for him to get runs like anyone else. But he's got the mental aptitude, and he's someone who is from Punjab, where conditions in the early months of November, December, and Jan, the ball tends to do a bit. So he knows how to play swing bowling, but the bounce is the difference. There it is black soil pitches, bounce is lesser. But if we go to a place where there is bounce, that's when he will get challenged. He's someone who's phenomenal with the short ball. But if the pitch is good, he is probably one of the greatest in terms of shot making. But when the pitch is doing a bit, he will have his challenges as a batter. So at number 3, in these sort of conditions, he needs to score to instill the faith in the new coaches to say, I am the man for you to do the job. And that is something he will be looking to do. Whether I will back him for Australia, 100% I will. But these sort of conditions, he's going to be faced with dime a dozen and needs to come good.
I thought I heard you say, I want to be sure of that. I thought I heard you say he comes from Punjab, where in November, December, the conditions are such that, the ball is seaming around, swinging a little bit, it's a little cold. But did we see a little bit of Punjab in Chennai today?
Interestingly, Harsha, the bounce was phenomenal, and it was
but the bounce will continue, won't it? The bounce will continue.
I remember Rohit Sharma coming to have a look at the pitch and just touched it with his spike and kind of, you could see his body language going, oh, the spike is going inside, which means the top layer is damp, which means there's residual moisture underneath. And all of this indicates that it's going to be hard work as a batter. Add to the fact that the pitch got quicker as it got warmer and it dried up, which is a sign that happens in Australia for that matter. When it starts slightly damp, little less bounce, and as the day progresses, it gets quicker, which was great to see. I'm happy that Gambhir chose to play on a pitch which is helping the fast bowlers, because India have a superb fast bowling attack, and with everything that's going to come around the corner, a great decision to put such a sporting wicket.
Since you already started talking about that, and you're growing every day as a broadcaster, you're getting more stylish as a broadcaster as well. You've realized that you're gently goading me on to the next point anyway, which is, like everything that Dinesh Karthik does, fast forward. Ravichandran Ashwin said at the end of the day that maybe it won't help spin so quickly, but eventually it is Chennai. It doesn't matter if it is cloudy or whatever. Eventually, Dinesh Karthik will be Dinesh Karthik. Eventually, a Chennai pitch will be Chennai pitch, right? Or is this so completely different? How will it play day 2, day 3, day 4? And is this position now a position of insurmountable strength for India?
Just like how I have goaded you on to the next question, you have goaded me on to the exact word. It is insurmountable for this test match. And I say that because 144 for 6 was your opportunity. You and Y were sitting together and we saw how nervous Tamim Iqbal, an ex-Bangladesh captain, was behaving at that stage. And everything pointed to the fact that we've been here many times, but from here we capitulate for some strange reason, which I don't know why. And I hope Bangladesh doesn't do it, is all he said. And that's exactly what's happened. From 124 to take the team to 320 is as a phenomenal effort, one. And that pretty much puts Bangladesh out of the game because in these trying conditions, their batting will find it hard. It's not going to be easy. And with a quality fast bowling attack that India has, it's definitely not going to be easy. Add to the fact that as this game progresses, day 3, it will definitely turn. Probably not day 2 as much. Day 3, it will start turning. Then we know who are there in our picture, Ravichandran Ashwin and Jadeja. So without sounding very rude to the Bangladeshi followers, this test match could be a hard one for them to salvage post what happened when they had the opportunity at 144 for 6.
Yeah, and let's see why we are saying that. If you look at the summary, look at where the game is now, remember that by opting to bowl first, Bangladesh has opted to bat fourth. Now, when you bat fourth, it can get tricky, especially what DK is saying does actually happen, that it might be third day, it might be early fourth day, but the track will start to play tricks maybe when Bangladesh are batting fourth, in which case you need a very handy first innings lead to make up for having to bat fourth. Now, when you're 339 for 6, as you saw there, it means that when your turn comes to bat, even if India only make 350, you have to make anything between 430 to 450 minimum to be able to control the game from there. And I don't think it's going to be easy to make 450 on this track, which leaves me with one last question for DK. When Bumrah and Siraj and Akashdeep come out to bowl, they will have been this track would have been about 1.5 days old. There would have been some sun on it. Would it be as good to bowl at as it was on day 1?
Not at all. It won't be anywhere as good to bowl on as it was this morning. And that's always the case in test matches. Day 1, there's plenty. At times, if there's enough grass, you'll be able to simulate it on day 2, day 3. But this pitch will dry up quickly. Today, it was a very rare occasion where it was almost cloudy throughout the day. Tomorrow, that's not going to be the case. We will have that sun beating down, and then it will be hard work from there on for the fast bowlers. But still, the one thing that will be in their favor is this pitch has bounce. Now, that's a luxury in India, and that they have here. Add to the fact that because of the 4 of grass that they have left on the pitch, it will still play its part, the odd delivery where it will seam and come back in and do whatever it can to help the bowlers. All said and done, the skill level of Indian bowlers as we sit here today is far higher than what Bangladesh possess. So it will even out, but it's going to be hard work for the Bangladeshi batters and hard work for the Indian bowlers. If they were given the conditions today, I think it would have been a very different story. I would have been very surprised if Bangladesh could have batted through the whole day, considering the attack that India has, to be very, very honest. So tomorrow, Bangladesh, if they get India all out, and start batting again, I see Indian bowlers, the fast bowlers, picking up at least 5 to 6 wickets during the course of the day.
Okay, so let's see what India did in terms of playing host. India invited Bangladesh. India said to them, welcome, here are conditions. Doesn't matter if you win the toss. India were good hosts and allowed Bangladesh to win session 1, allowed Bangladesh to win session 2, maybe contentious slightly, maybe if not 100-0, about what 60-40. But by winning the third session, India have actually ended up winning the day. Now, there's a reason I use the word host. In the other window, next to me on this is a host who has invited everybody for dinner but has not told us what to expect, except to tell us that in the traffic jam, it will be at least 1 hour for you to come. What have you got in store for us today, DK?
All I will hint at is Anita is not going to be happy when you get back to Mumbai.
But I'm not, these young people can hold evenings better than I can. So we'll wait and see. But I am so happy that Dinesh Karthik has invited me home. I am planning to take a selfie with that autograph in the background, and we'll put it up tomorrow. So good evening ahead for
Harsha,
us.
you know,
Huh.
I mean, in colder places, I've seen you doing naughtier things. Any reason? Yes, the weather might have been like London. I agree. But did you have the ice cream slash gulab jamun slash rasmalai that you usually put your hands on in the ground quietly, like a 6-year-old child who doesn't want his mother to know? Was there a situation that I missed? I really want to probe you on this.
Luckily, the strawberry ice cream today was not the greatest ice cream in the world. So I paused at half a scoop.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the curd rice that was there was not enough, and so I had to have a few of the biscuits. But it is okay at my stage. I am not about to go and play the SA20. So
Hmm.
I don't need to be as fit as someone who's going to go and play the SA20. So I'm okay. I'm looking forward to a lovely evening if I get there in time for me to be able to come back and sleep. If I'm a little drowsy tomorrow, blame it on my partner. Thank you very much for joining us before he gets a line back in. He's been getting a lot of lines back in. There you are, Cricbuzz chatter at the end of day one. What a day's cricket we had. Bangladesh starting off looking almost impregnable, and by the end of the day, chasing shadows once again. But let's see if India can keep it going on day two. Day one started very well. I'm hoping it'll end very well at DK's residence, but we'll wait and see.